Stars are just holes in a velvet sheet, watching the shadows on our empty street. I'm holding the air where your hand used to be, learning the weight of a ghost's company. There's no grand explosion, no cinematic end, just a slow motion break that no longer can end. The silence is cold and the kitchen is bare, and I'm talking to pictures that don't even care. It's the anchor that's dropping in the middle of the night, the slow motion fading of a beautiful light. I'm a pilot with no stars to steer his ship by, underneath the hollow and a heartless sky. It's just sad love, the kind that stays late, standing guard at the edge of a rusted out gate. It's the almost and maybe and the should have been us, turning our kingdom to a handful of dust. No more the fire, just the smoke and the chill, a heartbeat that's trying to climb up the hill. It's the heaviest burden I've ever been sent, just sad love where the forever went. I found a receipt in the pocket of my jeans, a tiny reminder of what together means. A Tuesday in April, a coffee and a laugh, before the earthquake divided the path. Now the ink is all fading and the paper is thin, and I don't know where to let the healing begin. I'm a collector of gone, a witness to none, watching the eclipse of my only son. I'm standing at the crossroads of a dream, looking back at the ripples in the stream. If I had turned the key and walked inside, instead of letting my foolish, heavy pride take the wheel and drive me far away into the hollow of a lonely day, the tea would still be warm upon the stove in the quiet corner of our little cove. The what if is a poison in the glass, watching the ghosts of our futures pass. I'm rewriting the ending of a story told, trying to keep the fire from turning cold. If I had stayed, would the walls still be bright? Would we still be laughing in the middle of the night? Would the garden be blooming and the porch light be on? Or would we still be waiting for a different dawn? I'm tracing the ghost of a life we outran, a beautiful bridge and a broken down plan. I'm a prisoner of maybe, a victim of pride, wondering who I'd be if I had stayed. I see the version of us that didn't break, the one that survived every single mistake. We're gray at the temples and soft at the eyes, underneath the familiar and forgiving sky. I wouldn't know the silence of this empty home, or the weight of the shadows against the wall. I'd be the man who chose to hold on tight, instead of the one who vanished in the night. I caught my reflection in the hallway glass, and for a second I let a stranger pass. The shoulders are slumped and the eyes are a haze, a map of the hunger and the hollowed out days. I'm tracing the lines where your fingers once traced, looking for a memory that can't be erased. But the skin feels like paper, the bones feel like lead, like a house that's been haunted by the words that we said. I'm putting on clothes that don't fit me the same, like I'm trying to hide from a face and a name. There's a ghost in the mirror, a ghost in the bed, and I'm living in a shell that's already dead. This is a body I don't recognize anymore, a stranger who's pacing the hardwood floor. The heartbeats are heavy, spirit is thin. I don't know how to live in the state that I'm in. I'm a hollowed out canyon, a salt-beaten shore, missing the person I was once before. Lost in the wreckage, lost in the size of a body I don't recognize. I reached for the coffee and my hand started to shake, like it's terrified of the morning and the ache. There's a gap in my ribs where the us used to be, a cold kind of silence from my head to my feet. I remember when I was a fortress, a flame, when I knew every muscle, when I knew every game. Now I'm just a silhouette, a trick of the light, a shadow that's trying to survive through the night. I found a scrap of paper in the pocket of my coat, the one where you had scrawled a jagged little note. My fingers knew the sequence, they moved without a thought, chasing after ghosts that I've already caught. I pressed the glowing buttons in the middle of the night, expecting to be blinded by a digital light. But the air stayed heavy and the air stayed still as I started the climb up this bitter final hill. It's a signal to a station that's been burned to the ground, a desperate reaching for a long lost sound. I'm whispering hello to the wires and the rust, trying to find a heartbeat in a handful of dust. I'm dialing a dead number once again, searching for a frequency in the middle of the rain. I'm waiting for the ringing, but I only get the hum of a world that's gone cold and a heart that's gone numb. No more, I'm on my way, no more talk to you soon. Just the static of a hollow and a heartless afternoon. I'm a prisoner of a signal that's gone into the blue, dialing a dead number just to feel close to you. Is no longer in use, is the only kind of logic and the only kind of truth. It's a recorded mercy, a robotic kind of gone, leaving me to face the breaking of the dawn. I remember when that rhythm was the music of my day, before the connection started drifting away. And now it's just a sequence of a 0 and a 1, a digital ending for a love that's been done. The newspaper still sitting on the drive, a heavy proof that I am barely alive. The kettle's humming a lonely, low tune in the middle of a cold and a hollow afternoon. I pulled out the chair where you used to sit and watch the dust motes dance for a bit. Everything's exactly where you left it to stay, except for the forever that you carried away. The bells at the chapel are ringing so slow, but I got no heaven or hell left to go. The silence is a physical, heavy-set weight standing guard at the edge of my garden gate. It's just another Sunday alone, a king with a heart made of cold gray stone, watching the shadows trade places with the light, waiting for the mercy of a long dark night. No hello, no, how was your sleep? Just the secrets that I'm forced to keep. The calendar's empty, the signal is gone. I'm just another Sunday alone. used to hear a few sounds, but I felt like a ghost in the familiar grounds. I saw a couple laughing on the edge of the park, and it hit like a lightning bolt, left a deep mark. I came back home and I checked the front door, knowing your keys won't click there anymore. The coffee is bitter, the morning is long. I'm humming the ghost of our favorite song. The air in this room used to taste like your name, but now it just feels like a ghost in the frame. I'm standing in the kitchen staring at the floor, trying to remember what the lungs are for. It's a mechanical motion, a lift and a fall, counting the seconds as I lean against the wall. 1 for the panic, 2 for the fear, 3 for the silence because you aren't here. It's the simplest thing that I've ever had to do. So why does it feel like I'm breaking in two? I'm fighting the vacuum, I'm fighting the weight of heart that is locked behind a rusted out gate. I'm learning to breathe without you tonight, in the cold gray edges of the morning light, taking in the oxygen, letting out the ache, trying not to shiver with every step I take. It's a shallow beginning, a jagged edge start, pumping the life back into my heart, deep and slow, just to see it through. I'm learning to breathe without you. I went for a walk just to feel the wind blow, to see if the world had a place left to go. The scent of the pine and the salt of the sea felt like a stranger was talking to me. I didn't have to check if you were doing okay. I didn't have to carry your part of the day. It's a terrifying lightness, a wide open space where I don't have to search for the lines of your face. I walk past the park on the edge of the town, where the golden hour light was coming on down. I saw you there, sitting on our favorite bench, with a feeling that hit like a sudden cold trench. The way you were leaning, the way that you smiled, was a look I hadn't seen in a long, long while. But you were looking at me, you weren't in my reach. You were a different person, with a new lesson to teach. The sky is a masterpiece, orange and red, but I'm seeing the ghosts of the words that we said. The glow on your face is familiar and bright, but I'm standing here in the edge of the night. You're basking in someone else's And I'm trying to keep from breaking a vow. The warmth on your skin is from a different spark, while I'm still navigating the deep and the dark. I used to be the one who lit up your day, but I'm just a shadow that's getting in the way. It's a beautiful vision, a beautiful sight, but you're living in someone else's sunlight. I watched as he reached out and tucked back your hair with the same kind of grace and the same kind of care. I saw the reflection of hope in your eyes underneath a brand new and forgiving sky. I should be happy, I should be glad that you found a peace that we never quite had. But it's hard to be selfless when the light is so clear, and I'm the only one who's still shivering here. I'm standing at the edge of a fresh open wound where the rest of our life was meant to be bloomed. I've got a shovel and I've got the time to bury the rhythm and bury the rhyme. The world is a chorus of birds and of bees, while I'm down on my shivering salt-covered knees, marking the spot where the laughter once lived before the forever began to give. It's not just the distance from here to the stars, or the cold, jagged feeling of digital bars. It's the vertical drop from the us that I knew to the hollowed out silence of a world without you. I'm digging through 6 feet of silence tonight, under the weight of a dying and heartless light. It's a heavy set layer of the things we didn't say, of the sorry and maybe that we threw all away. I'm dropping the memory, I'm dropping the spark into a canyon that's deep and that's dark. No more the heartbeats, no more the violence, just 6 feet of silence. Just 6 feet of silence. I remember when close was a breath in the sigh, underneath the forgiving and sun-drenched sky. Now there's a pressure, a physical wall that doesn't let any words echo at all. I'm packing the dirt on the dreams that we shared in the corner of a room where nobody cared. The surface is level, the surface is clean, but I know what's buried in the spaces between. The echoes have stopped their dancing on the wall, and I'm the only shadow left in the hole. I'm walking through the wreckage of the plans we made, watching the vibrant colors start to slowly fade. The kitchen is a graveyard of the meals we shared, in a house that's forgotten how it once was cared. I'm picking up the pieces, I'm checking every shelf, finding the parts of you I kept inside myself. It's the quiet after the riot, the calm after the gale, the moment the wind finally leaves the tattered sail. I'm standing in the center of a wide open space, searching for a trace of your beautiful face. This is the aftermath of goodbye, underneath a hollow in a heartless sky. The smoke is all cleared and the fire is out, leaving me in a garden of a hollowed out doubt. I'm tracing the outlines of where we once stood, when the world was bright and the love was still good. Lost in the silence, I'm beginning to cry, in the aftermath of goodbye. In the aftermath of goodbye. I found a single sock beneath the edge of the bed, a tiny little ghost of the life that we led. I didn't throw it out, I didn't let it go. I'm a collector of things that don't live or grow. The air is still heavy with the scent of your teeth, but there isn't a cup left for you or for me. I'm a witness to the nothing, a student of the gone, trying to find the strength to face a brand new dawn. If I swept the floor, would I sweep you away into the dirt of a forgotten yesterday? Or is the debris of us a permanent thing, a winter that's taken the heart of the spring? I used to breathe easy in this 5-meter space, before the silence took over the place. The walls were like giants, the air was so wide, with plenty of room for a heart to reside. But ever since you took your key from the hook, the rafters are shaking, the foundation is shook. The crown molding's dipping, the plaster is thin, and I'm losing the battle with the world closing in. I'm crouching down low on the hardwood floor, eyes on the handle of the dead bolted door. The volume of nothing is starting to rise, while the shadows are pressing against my tired eyes. And the ceiling is getting lower tonight, squeezing out the last of the flickering light. I'm running out of oxygen, running out of room, in the heavy set weight of a gathering gloom. The roof is a mountain, the stone on my chest, where the ghost of our forever has come to its rest. Every breath is a struggle, every thought is a power, as the ceiling is getting lower. I remember when we used to reach for the stars. Now I'm just counting the cracks in the bars. I'll have to lean over just to walk to the sink. The pressure is making it harder to think. The photos on the mantle are starting to tilt under the gravity and under the guilt. It's a slow motion crush, a quiet retreat. I'm looking in the mirror at a stranger's eyes, beneath a hollow and a heartless sky. I've walked through the rooms and I've checked every door, but I don't recognize the ghost on the floor. I've lost the us and I've lost the we, and now I'm meeting the loneliest of me, the one who doesn't know how to fill up the space without the reflection of your beautiful face. It's a quiet arrival, a cold kind of birth, a shadow that's tried to find its own worth. I'm stripped of the laughter, I'm stripped of the light, standing alone in the center of the night. This is the loneliest of me you've ever seen, living in the silence of what's in between. No one to talk to, no one to hold, just a story of fire that's turned into cold. I'm an island of sorrow in a wide open sea, facing the version I didn't want to be, the hollowed out heart, the bended down knee. This is the loneliest of me. I used to be someone who knew where to go, who didn't mind the wind or the heavy set snow. But that was when I was a part of a pair. Now I'm just gasping for the empty room air. I'm learning the sound of my own quiet breath, a slow motion rhythm of a digital death. I'm my own only witness, my own only friend, in a world that's forgotten how to mend. I'm standing in the bathroom, the tiles are like ice, paying the total of a beautiful price. I reach for the faucet, I splashed on the cold, trying to wash off the stories we told. And I looked up to see if the person was there, the one with the light and the wind in their hair. But the glass is a window to a hollowed out space, and I can't find the features of a familiar face. It's not just a shadow, it's not just a blur, it's the lack of the him and the lack of the her. The silver is empty, the reflection is thin, and I don't know where the me should begin. I'm staring at the void in the mirror tonight, watching the edges of my soul turn to white. There's no one behind me, there's no one in front, just the jagged remains of a memory hunt. I'm a frame with no picture, a sky with no blue, a silhouette waiting for a signal from you. Lost in the nothing, lost in the size of the void in the mirror and the look in its eyes. bubbles, making little hearts as the minutes would pass. Now the surface is clear and the surface is dry, like a heartless and permanent digital sky. I'm tracing the air where your shoulder should be, but the silver just stares back, indifferent to me. I'm a ghost of a habit, a relic of stay, in a body that's starting to all drift away. I didn't close my eyes until the sky turned gray, just dreading the start of another long day. The caffeine is bitter, but I drink it down like a king of a broken and weary town. I'm moving my feet through a sea of lead, replaying the things that you never said. My bones are heavy, my spirit is thin. I don't know where to let the morning begin. It's not just the sleep that I'm missing tonight, it's the will to keep up with the spirit and fight. I've carried this heartache through every door, and I don't wanna carry it anymore. I'm just tired of being tired of you, tired of the gray and the shade of the blue, tired of the way that I still check my phone, tired of feeling so damn alone. My heart is a muscle that's worked way too hard, pacing the floors of this empty graveyard. I'm done with the weeping, I'm done with the wired. I'm just so tired of being tired. I try to remember a time I felt light, before every evening became such a fight. But the memory's fuzzy, the edges are frayed, like a photograph left where the sunlight has stayed. I'm exhausted from hiding the how do you do, exhausted from searching for pieces of you in the back of the closet, in the steam of the shower, counting the ghosts of every lost hour. I'm back on my knees in the half-light of dawn, in the house where the warmth of your spirit is gone. I've worn out the carpet, I've worn out the air, with a desperate rhythmic and heavy-set prayer. I'm asking for mercy, I'm asking for time to fix every rhythm and fix every rhyme. But the ceiling is high and the rafters are cold, and I'm holding a hope that is growing too old. I've sent up 1,000, I've sent up 1,000,000 to the stars in their vast and their silent pavilion. But there isn't a sign, and there isn't a sound, just my own heartbeat watching the stars lose their flickering light. I'm asking for one more, or just stay the night. But the heavens are closed and the window is tight. The silence is judge and the silence is jury, ignoring my grief and ignoring my fury. Just a hollowed out please in the middle of the blue, an unanswered prayer for you. I pray that the road would lead you back home, across the wide desert and salt-beaten foam. I pray that you'd wake up and realize the why underneath the forgiving and sun-drenched sky. But the mailbox is empty, the driveway is bare, my words just dissolve in the cold winter air. Maybe the no is the only reply to the man who refused to say a proper goodbye. The screen is a cold blue fire in the dark, casting long shadows but missing the spark. I've checked the signal, I've checked the tray 1,000 times since you walked away. It's been hours, it's been days, it's been half a life since I was a partner and not just a knife, cutting through silence, searching for it in a hollowed out world where the magic is dead. I'm a prisoner of the notification light, waiting for a vibration to break up the night. But the air is a desert and the glass is a wall, and I'm just a silhouette waiting for a call. I'm waiting for a text that won't come tonight, watching the battery bleed out its light while you're basking in someone else's sunlight. I'm drowning in the blue of this LED night. The phone is a stone, a heavy set ghost of the person who once loved me the most. I'm staring at nothing, I'm coming undone, waiting for a message from a ghost on the run. I scroll through the archives, I scroll through the start, when every good morning could heal my heart. Your name on the screen was a beautiful hum, before the connection started going quite numb. I know you moved on, I know you let go to a place where the winter winds never will blow, but I'm still addicted to the hope and the glow of a digital signal that's starting to slow. I saw you at the station, just a nod and a blink, but I knew exactly what you wanted me to think. The way you held your collar, the way you checked your watch, was a language only we were ever meant to scotch. We had a dictionary written in the way we breathed, the hidden world of meanings that we quietly bequeathed. I didn't need a sorry, I didn't need a stay. I heard it in the silence of a cluttered Tuesday. It was a shorthand of the soul, a cipher of the heart, keeping us together while we were miles apart. But the key has been lost and the wires are all frayed in the middle of the mess and the choices we made. We used to speak in codes, in whispers and in sighs, a universe of secrets hidden in each other's eyes. A tilt to the head was a don't let me go. A tap on the glass was a more than you know. Now the signals are scrambled, the frequency's dead, and I'm reading the static inside of my head. A broken translation of a love that eroded back when we used to speak in codes. I found an old receipt with the drawing in the margin, the ghost of a joke that was our only bargain. To the world it was a doodle, a waste of the ink. To me it was a bridge across a terrifying brink. Now I'm looking at your messages, clear and so cold, like a story for a stranger that's already been told. There's no more underneath, there's no more between, just the hollowed out logic of a digital screen. I walked into the kitchen and the air was thin, like a story was ending before I could begin. I saw the way you looked at your keys on the shelf, like you were already talking to somebody else. Your bags were by the door, tucked out of the light, while I was still planning for Saturday night. The map was all drawn and the engine was warm, while I was still sleeping through the eye of the storm. Everyone's whispering, everyone sees the way that the branches are losing their leaves. I'm the only one standing in the middle of the track, while the train is already a mile from my back. Why am I always the last to know? Watching the taillights of your forever ago. I'm still holding the ticket, I'm still at the gate, while you're already crossing the line of our fate. The secret was out, the ending was written, while I was still lying here perfectly smitten. A fool in the window, a ghost in the show. Why am I always the last to know? I called up our friends and I heard it in their tone that I'm sorry, that sounds like a heavy set stone. They knew about the coffee, they knew about the change. They'd already practiced the isn't it strange. I was the only one building a home on a foundation of salt and of sea-beaten foam. I was buying the groceries and fixing the chair, while you were already breathing a different air. I'm sitting in the quiet of this empty room, watching the shadows start to gather and bloom. think of the dinner we had at the end, where we talked about weather and tried to pretend. We mentioned the neighbors, we mentioned the car, but we never looked deep at the jagged-edged scar. We played it so safe and we played it so small, while the writing was screaming across every wall. It's a mountain of maybe and a river of if. Our bodies were guarded, our spirits were stiff. We had all the words, but we kept them inside, in a bunker of silence and a fortress of pride. It's everything we didn't say that's haunting me now. The I'm sorry and help me, and the broken down vow. The air is so heavy with the weight of the pleas, bringing me down to my shivering knees. We could have been honest, we could have been real, instead of just numbing the way that we feel. Now I'm drowning in silence at the end of the day, and everything we didn't say. I wanted to tell you I was terrified to lose the life that we built and the past that we choose. I wanted to ask if you were still in there, behind the cold look and the indifferent stare. But I asked for the salt and I asked for the time, in a long quiet rhythm that was missing a rhyme. We traded our truth for a polite kind of lie, and watched as the forever began to just die. I walk past the corner of 4th and Main, where the pavement is cracked and it's starting to rain. I looked up at the lamp that stands by the wall, the one that we hit when we had it all. We were dancing too fast, we were laughing too loud, two silver sparks in a heavy gray cloud. I remember the spark and I remember the sound, when the glass hit the street and the light hit the ground. The city came out and they fixed up the wire, they put out the sparks of our short-lived fire. But every time I pass by this cold piece of stone, I'm reminded of how I am standing alone. It's the street light we broke on a midsummer night, when we were the only thing burning and bright. Now it's shining for strangers, it's shining for cars, underneath the forgiving and graveyard of stars. But it's missing the flicker, it's missing the heat of the two of us running on this lonely street. Just a cold steady glow for a heart that's awoke to the memory of the street light we broke. They say it's a hazard, they say it's a mess, to live in a version of more and not less. But I trade all this clarity, I trade all the shine, for one more second of your hand in mine. Back when the darkness was something we shared, before we were broken and before we were scared. Now the bulb is brand new and the light is so clear, but it's showing me everything that isn't here. I threw the keys onto the passenger seat and pulled out onto the midnight street. I didn't check the fuel, I didn't check the time. Just follow the rhythm and follow the rhyme of the engine humming a lonely song about everything right that went permanently wrong. The city lights are a blur in the glass, watching the ghost of our summers all pass. I'm not looking for a city, I'm not looking for a shore, I'm just looking for a place where I don't feel you anymore. I'm chasing the horizon, I'm chasing the dark, trying to outrun every last flickering spark. It's a long drive to nowhere tonight, under the buzz of a flickering light. I'm burning the miles, I'm crossing the line, trying to convince myself I'm doing fine. No destination and no place to be, just the open road and the ghost of me, lost in the motion, lost in the glare, on a long drive to nowhere. I passed a diner where we used to stop and felt the heavy weight of the teardrop. The radio played that song we knew back when the sky was a deeper blue. I gripped the wheel until my knuckles turned white, shaking and breaking in the dead of the night. Every mile marker is a year we spent, a silent reminder of where the love went.